Have you ever wondered how Japan transformed from a land of scattered tribes to a unified nation under the rule of a single emperor? This sweeping transformation was largely due to a period known as Feudal Japan, a time of significant change that shaped the country's history in profound ways. Feudal Japan, stretching from the 12th to the 19th century, was an era of military rule and societal hierarchy, where power was held by shoguns and daimyos, and samurais roamed the land. It was a time of great upheaval, but also of cultural flourishing. This era saw the birth of many of Japan's most iconic traditions, from the art of the tea ceremony to the disciplined practice of the samurai. In this video, we'll walk through this timeline, exploring the key events, figures, and cultural developments that defined each century. So grab your time machine, history buffs, and get ready to journey back in time. Let's journey back in time and explore the fascinating era of feudal Japan. The 12th century marked the dawn of feudalism in Japan, but what led to its emergence? Let's take a step back to the Heian period, a time of political instability and power struggles that set the stage for the rise of feudalism. The Heian period, spanning from the late 8th to the late 12th century, was a time of flourishing culture, but also a time of political unease. The emperor, although revered, was largely a figurehead, with real power lying in the hands of the Fujiwara clan, who used strategic marriages to maintain their influence. However, as the Heian period progressed, the Fujiwara's grip on power began to wane. Other powerful families, such as the Taira and the Minamoto, started to assert their dominance. This led to a period of conflict known as the Genpei War, pitting the Taira against the Minamoto in a struggle for control of the country. The war culminated in the Minamoto's victory and the establishment of the Kamakura shogunate in the late 12th century, the first of Japan's military governments. This marked a significant shift in Japan's political structure. The emperor was relegated to a ceremonial role, while the shogun, the military leader of the Minamoto clan, became the de facto ruler of Japan. This transition marked the beginning of an era where power resided not with the emperor, but with the shogun. Feudal Japan is often synonymous with the image of the samurai, but who were these warriors really? Immerse yourself in the world of the samurai, a class of highly skilled warriors that emerged during the 12th century. These warriors held a significant role in the hierarchy of feudal society, standing just below the ruling class of nobles and daimyos, the powerful territorial lords. The samurai were not just soldiers, they were the guardians of the social order and the upholders of the law. They lived by a rigid code of honor and ethics known as Bushido, or the way of the warrior. This was not a written law, but a set of principles that guided the samurai's actions and decisions. Bushido emphasized virtues like loyalty, self-discipline, and respect. A samurai was expected to lead a life of frugality, kindness, honesty, and above all, honor. This code was so deeply ingrained in samurai culture that it often led them to choose death over the disgrace of failure. But the samurai were more than just warriors. They were also scholars, poets, and philosophers. They cultivated the arts, practiced tea ceremonies, and contributed to the development of a distinct Japanese aesthetic. Their influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping the cultural identity of Japan in ways that still resonate today. The 14th century marked the establishment of the Ashikaga shogunate, a period dominated by the samurai class. This was followed by the era of the warring states in the 16th century, a tumultuous time of constant conflict between rival daimyos. Yet, even in the face of chaos, the samurai's adherence to Bushido remained unwavering. The legacy of the samurai is deeply woven into the fabric of Japanese history. Their principles of honor, courage, and discipline have left an indelible mark on Japanese society. Their stories continue to inspire and captivate, painting vivid images of a time when honor was worth more than life itself. The samurai were not just warriors, they were the embodiment of the values and moral code of feudal Japan. Feudal Japan was not a peaceful era. It was an age of constant warfare. So how did Japan become united under a single rule? To answer that, we zoom in on the pivotal roles of three key figures: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. First up, Oda Nobunaga. A man of vision, he dreamt of a unified Japan and set about achieving it with ruthless efficiency. He started by subduing rival clans, and by the time of his death in the late 16th century, he had control over a third of Japan. Nobunaga was a master tactician and innovator, introducing firearms into Japanese warfare, which drastically changed the dynamics of power. Then came Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a man who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most powerful figures in Japan. He was a trusted general under Nobunaga. After Nobunaga's untimely death, Hideyoshi seized the opportunity and continued his predecessor's work. He achieved what Nobunaga couldn't, unifying Japan. But his rule was short-lived. His attempts to keep power within his family failed, and after his death, Japan was on the brink of chaos again. Enter Tokugawa Ieyasu, the third and arguably the most influential of the trio. He patiently waited, building alliances and consolidating his power. After Hideyoshi's death, he seized control, and in the year 1600, he won the Battle of Sekigahara, effectively securing his hold over Japan. He established the Tokugawa shogunate, a military government that would rule Japan for over 250 years. This period, known as the Edo period, was marked by relative peace, stability, and isolation from the outside world. These three men, with their ambition, tenacity, and strategic genius, were instrumental in shaping Japan's history. They brought an end to a centuries-long era of conflict and set Japan on a path towards unity and peace. The unification of Japan was a turbulent process, but it laid the foundations for the country's future growth. Feudal Japan was an era of great change and transformation. As we have journeyed through this captivating period, we've seen the emergence of a social structure that would define the country for centuries. Feudalism, with its lords and vassals, peasants and samurai, was not just a system of governance but a way of life that permeated every corner of Japanese society. And who can forget the samurai? These noble warriors became the embodiment of Japan's martial spirit, their code of Bushido setting a standard for courage, honor, and duty. They were more than just soldiers. They were the protectors, the peacekeepers, the very heart of feudal Japan. Yet amidst the tumult of war and the shifting sands of power, there emerged a desire for unity. The unification of Japan was not a swift or easy process. It took the ambition of powerful figures, the determination of the samurai, and the resilience of the Japanese people to bring about a united nation. These events, these changes, they all played a pivotal role in shaping Japan's history. They influenced the country's culture, its values, and its identity. From the feudal lords to the humble peasants, from the fearsome samurai to the unifying shoguns, each had a part to play in this grand tapestry. Feudal Japan, a time of warriors and shoguns, of honor and warfare, shaped the land of the rising sun into the nation we know today.